Welcome back, class. Thanks for sticking around. I know these are kind of strange times right now. Again, I'm hoping that you're healthy and safe. Your family's healthy as well. So again, priorities: take care of yourself. At these weird, strange times. But again, welcome. For those parents who are checking in maybe for the first time, I'm Mr. Ward. This is kind of the setup we've been doing the last couple weeks to continue. Opportunities to review some material that we've previously done. Again, these are just opportunities; they're not required. Um, but again, thanks for all the students that are actively participating or at least watching the videos. I think it's still important. Let's kind of jump right in here and talk about our topics here. So what we have here in front of us is kind of our topics today. Obviously, we're going to be doing area and perimeter. This is something we've done previously where and we're talking about figures when we were talking about painting or putting in a carpet or hardwood floor. And that's kind of the big thing. And then the other topics we were talking about was perimeter, and that's the distance around an object, as you can kind of see some of the definitions that are on the slide in front of you. The big idea is knowing the differences. When to do one, why do we do one? That's kind of the idea today. And then in the next couple weeks, maybe we'll go on to some new material. But I thought it was kind of important to hit the big topics we've kind of covered up till this point. But again, we're in week 4. This is part 1 here. So area and perimeter, and we'll be using the formulas here in the next couple of slides to kind of review what we're doing, and I'm going to give you an example. We'll kind of do one of each type for that example. So let's jump right into the formulas, and hopefully this makes sense. All right, so what you're seeing in front of you is the area formula. Now this is for a rectangle or a square, where you take the length and you take it times the width. Now the length and width are, they can be labeled differently, but typically the length is the distance going across the top and the width is going up and down. That's kind of the idea. Sometimes they're called base and height. It's the same thing. It really doesn't matter. But that's kind of the idea that we're focusing on here. So if I give you an example in this particular problem, like let's say I said that the length is 7 centimeters and the width here is 5 centimeters. All you have to do is just multiply those two numbers together. That's what this formula is saying. That would be the area. That'd be the the space on the floor. It's how many square tiles would be on the floor. That's important for figuring out how much carpet, how much paint you need to buy. Hardwood floors, maybe how many actual boards itself you would need for coverage. That's kind of what we use it for. It's kind of the main purpose of it. There's other purposes when we get to pre-calc and calculus, but that's kind of the more practical use for that. I think most people would know. So in my case, if I'm doing 7 and 5, to find the area, you would just take 7 centimeters times the 5 centimeters. Now the label is the big thing. So when you actually multiply these, you're going to get 35, that's 7 times 5, and then the label would be square centimeters or square centimeters in this case. That's what this little cm to the power 2 means, centimeters squared. It's how many little perfect 1 by 1 centimeter squares would fit on that. It would be 35 in this entire object because there's 7 going across and 5 going down. You can count them all up if you draw each one in there correctly. That's the idea. That's kind of the purpose. So let's jump right into a problem that you'd have to do in maybe the Google form that I would like you to try. Again, these are not required, but they're just kind of opportunities for us. All right, so an actual problem here. We have a bunch of numbers here on this rectangle. Maybe this is the shape of a room of your house, taking out maybe some closet or something in the room itself. So these little tally marks here are in feet. That's what the little hash mark means. So I'm going to kind of transfer some numbers here. So if I'm just going to put some dashed lines in here. This is kind of how I see the room. Maybe that's different for you. Maybe you want to draw the lines across, going horizontal. It really doesn't matter. I just see it this way. Again, that could be different for anyone in here. But what we're going to be doing is finding the area on this particular picture. So I'm going to do it kind of like the last one. So I'm going to find the area of this actual rectangle right here. So this is the rectangle I'm going to find the area of. Then I'll find the area of this part and the area of this piece, and then add the 3 together. That's the practical use of it. Now again, why would we do something like that? Maybe you're going to carpet a room of your house. Maybe this part right here is where you're going to have some hardwood, maybe the front doors right there, and you're not going to put carpet there. So you're going to put some hardwood. So you want to know what the total space is for the room that's left over. Maybe that's a practical use for this. So kind of going through the numbers here. This space over here, I'm gonna try to use different colors here. Maybe that'll help you out and make a little more sense. So this area over here, I'm gonna use maybe a light blue. This space right here is 10 times 5. So that would be 50 square feet. Again, this little tally marks mean feet. It took 5 times 10, length times width. That's kind of the numbers I'm doing. So that's easy. The middle, this is the tricky one. So let me switch up the color here. The middle, it's by 5 feet. We know that. That's the width of it. But the height is actually 6 feet. Now, how I know that is because this side all the way over here is 10, and this part right here is 4. So that would mean this part has to be 6 to make a total of 10 with the other side, because 4 plus 6 makes the total of 10 over here. So that's the idea. So this room that we're going to find the area of right here is 6 by 5. That's the idea. That's what we're doing. So if I do the math, 6 times 5, that would be 30 square feet. Or feet to the power 2, if you will. All right, and then the last one. Let me get rid of all these marks over here. All right, let's switch up the color again, and we'll go to red. All right, so this area over here, we're going to go the same. This is the same total height, which is 10, and then by 5. So this is 5 times 10 over here, which is 50 square feet. That's that side of the room. And then to find the total area, I would just add this up. 50 plus the 30 plus the 50. And I should get 130 square feet. No, feet squared or square feet, however you want to write it. So now why that's important. Maybe that's, you have to check, what they sell carpet in or hardwood floors in the store. Maybe you know the coverage it will have. So that tells you how much you're going to pay. And again, you always want to overestimate a little bit so you know what your budget is, because you're going to have to hire somebody to put that in unless you have some carpentry skills. But again, that's kind of the purpose of this stuff. Or maybe you're painting a wall. That could be, because every can of paint has a certain coverage area. Okay, let's jump right into the next. Okay, so the next topic is going to be perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around a figure. So now they have a kind of a weird formula here, but what I'm going to do is just kind of show you what perimeter is. It's the distance around. So let's say this is length again, and this is width like I had earlier. Well, the idea is that the length is still the same at the bottom of the picture, and the width is still the same over here. So really, if you're just doing perimeter, you just add up the lengths and the widths. So you're going to add 2 lengths and 2 widths, and that's what this is, because this 2 would be technically distributed through. Or you'd add the length and width together, and then multiply it by 2, because you have 2 of each. So there's a couple different ways. This is the way the book kind of wrote it. They wrote it like this. I just think it's easy if you just add the lengths and width all together and just add them up. So again, if I had that 5, actually, sorry, I think this was 7 centimeters earlier, and this was 5 centimeters. So then I would continue these numbers across, and I would just add up the total distance around. That's what perimeter is. So perimeter would be, maybe you're going to put like a floor molding, a little like border around the base of the floor so it covers the carpet, the gap in the carpet, or maybe this is the backyard, you're going to put a fence. That's maybe a perimeter that you'd have to use. But again, I'm just going to be adding 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5. And again, if you add these all up, you should get, 24, and this would be total of centimeters. And it's not squares because it's just the length itself. That's all you're looking for. So 24 total centimeters all the way around. All right. Let's jump into the next one here. So this, back to the room again. So if I transfer these numbers around, the 10 can go over here. This is the 10 feet. Up top, this total distance, right, all the way up here. This number that's up here. This total length across the top, that number is the 5. If I put these hash marks I had in earlier, the 5 and the 5. So adding these 3 up, this is 5, 5, and 5, that makes that total length across the top 15. That's a total of 15 feet all the way across the top, because it's 5 plus 5 plus 5. And if I keep going around, you know, I have the 10, the 5, and then this going up is 4 feet again, and then across is 5, down is 4. I'm just kind of using the numbers as I go around clockwise around this figure to get all my numbers, you know, in place so that I can visually like add them together. So I'm going to be adding 15 plus 10 plus 5 plus 4 plus the 5 plus the 4 plus the 5 plus the 10. Kind of going all the way around the figure and adding up every single wall and not trying to forget one. Usually what I do is I start at the top and just go clockwise all the way around until I have all the numbers added up. So I'm just going to add these up in my calculator so you can see this. I'm just going to type it in. So 15 plus 10 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10. Adding up all those numbers together. Let's see if I hopefully didn't forget anything. I think I got everything written down. So it was a total of 58 feet altogether, all the way around. Maybe this is the border for maybe a trim that you're going to put around the room, like a floor molding, that's what they call it, or a crown molding on the top of the room. Maybe that's going to be around the ceiling. You can put some decorative molding. But again, you'd have to buy it by the distance all the way around the room. All right, these are our topics today. That was my last problem. So the big thing is, I want you to continue, you know, with the topics we're doing, some review. So I'm going to send out another Google form. Again, that's just an opportunity. It's not required. It's just one of those things that I think it's important that you still continue your education a little bit. I'm hoping that you're, again, safe. That's kind of the first priority, is your health and your family's health. You know, education is a long distance second place to me. But again, I'm going to continue with the same format. Hopefully this is a little more personal to you. And you kind of like it, so just let me know. If you need help, you know, on homework or anything in general, you can always email me or call me or whatnot. I'll try to set up a Google Meet maybe if you need, you know, personal one-on-one on certain problems that we've been working on. But again, I hope to see you real soon.